नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटियाएँ। Myself JVN Dr. Archana Verma, Assistant Professor in Department of Homeopathic Surgery, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women University, Jaipur. Now today we'll start new topic, that is post-operative care. First introduction. The aim of post-operative care is to provide the patient with a quick, painless and safe recovery from surgery as possible. Now phases, there are three phases: immediate, intermediate and convention. Immediate post anesthetic phase, or intermediate hospital stay, and convention after discharge to full recovery. Summary of most common causes of post-operative fever pain starting on first day, reactive to drug or surgical tissue trauma. Second day, atelectasis. Third day, IV, IV line infection. Fourth day, pneumonia, DVD, deep vein thrombosis, UTI. Fourth day, wound infection, still pneumonia, DVD, UTI. 7-day abscess somewhere. After first week, allergy to drug, transfusion-related fever, septic pelvic vein thrombosis, and intra-abdominal abscess. Aim of phase first and second. Hemostasis, treatment of pain, prevention and early detection of complication. तो ये अपन किस में देखेंगे, जो फेज फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड फेज था उसमें अपन हीमोस्टेसिस देखेंगे, उसका जो पेन का पेन का ट्रीटमेंट कैसे करना वो देखेंगे, एंड जो भी उसके कॉम्प्लिकेशन हो सकते हैं या जो क्या प्रिवेंशन पेशेंट को अपन बता सकते हैं, तो वो फेज फर्स्ट और सेकंड में देखेंगे. नाउ इमीडिएट फेज. Discharge from recovery should be after complete stabilization of cardiovascular, pulmonary, and neurological function, which usually take 2 to 4 hours, if not special care in ICU. Post-operative orders. First, monitoring. Monitor the vital organs, ECG, fluid balance, other type of monitoring, arterial pulse after vascular surgery, level of consciousness after neurosurgery. Next, respiratory care, oxygen masks, ventilator, tracheal suction, chest physiotherapy. Position in bed and mobilization. Turning in bed usually every 30 minutes until full mobilization. Special position required sometimes. DVT prevention mechanically. Intermittent calf compression. Diet, nothing by mouth. Liquids, soft diet, नॉर्मल और स्पेशल डाइट. तो पेशेंट को अपन डाइट में क्या देखेंगे, भाई पेशेंट एनपी ओ तो नहीं है, नथिंग पर माउथ तो नहीं है, या वो लिक्विड डाइट, उसको लिक्विड देना है, सॉलिड देना है, या नॉर्मल या कोई स्पेशल डाइट, जैसे कि डायबिटिक पेशेंट होते हैं उनको शुगर फ्री डाइट दी जाती है, हाइपरटेंसिव पेशेंट होते हैं जिनका बीपी हाई होता है उनको सॉल्ट फ्री डाइट दी जाती है. तो ये अपने को पोस्ट सर्जरी अपने को पेशेंट की डाइट को भी अपने को देखना पड़ता है कि पेशेंट को किस तरह की डाइट देनी है अपने को. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ IV फ्लूइड. देन उसके बाद में अपन पेशेंट का देखेंगे कि उसको IV फ्लूइड की कितनी रिक्वायरमेंट है, डेली है या अल्टरनेटेड डे है, उसका जो भी सिचुएशन है वो देख के उसको IV फ्लूइड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करेंगे. तो डेली रिक्वायरमेंट्स, लूजेस फ्रॉम GI एंड UT, loses from stomachs and drainage, insensible uses, care of renal patient, care of drainage tube. Now, medication. Antibiotics, painkillers, sedative, pre-operative medication, care of patient on pre-operative operative steroid, H2 blocker, एंटीकोगुलेंट, एंटी डायबिटिक, एंटी हाइपरटेंसिव। तो ये मेडिसिन का अगर पेशेंट एंटी डायबिटिक है तो डायबिटिक है तो एंटी डायबिटिक मेडिसिन देते, हाइपरटेंसिव है तो एंटी हाइपरटेंसिव मेडिसिन देंगे। तो अपने को ये मेडिसिन का भी पेशेंट को आफ्टर सर्जरी ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। देन पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव पल्मोनरी केयर, the functional residual capacity and vital capacity decrease after major intra-abdominal surgery down to 40% pre-operative level. The go up slowly to 60 to 70% by 6 to 7 days and to normal pre-operative level after that. Post-respiratory capacity and vital capacity and post-operative pulmonary edema, post-anesthesia contributes to the change in pulmonary functions post-operative. The above change are accentuated by obesity, heavy smoking, or pre-existing lung disease, especially in elderly. Post-operative atlexic enhanced by shallow breathing, pain, obesity, and abdominal distension, restriction of diaphragmatic movement. Next, post-operative physiotherapy, especially deep inspiration, helps to decrease atlexic, also oxygen masks and periodic hyperinflation using spirometry. Early mobilization help to allot antibiotic and treatment of heart failure post-operative by adequate management of fluid will have to reduce pulmonary edema. When can patient leave recovery room? Patient is fully conventional, respiratory and oxygen are adequate. Patient is normotensive, not in pain nor nauseous. Cardiovascular parameters are stable. Oxygen fluid and analgesics has been prescribed. There are no concerns related to the surgical procedure. जनरल पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव प्रॉब्लम्स, जनरल जो पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव सर्जरी के बाद में जो जनरल प्रॉब्लम्स आती है वो क्या क्या हो सकते हैं? पेन हो सकता है, आईवी न्यूट्रिशन, नोजिया, वॉमिटिंग, ब्लीडिंग, डीप वेन थ्रोम्बोसिस, हाइपोथर्मिया, शिवरिंग, फीवर, प्रोफिलैक्सी अगेंस्ट इन्फेक्शन, प्रेशर सोर, कंफ्यूजनल स्टेटस, ब्रेन वुंड dehiscence, enhanced recovery, discharge of patient, follow-up in clinic. Now, pain. Non Non-sensitive pain arise from inflammation and ischemia. Neuropathic pain arise from a dysfunction in central nervous system. Psychogenic pain psychogenic pain is modified by the mental state of patient. Surgical patient may have persistent pain from a variety of disorder, include chronic inflammation, disease, recurrent infection, degenerative bone or joint disease, nerve injury, and sympathetic dystrophy. Effective analgesia is essential part. Important injectable drugs for pain are opiate analgesic NSAIDs such as diclofenac, ibuprofen, and paracetamol can also be given orally. Commonly inexpensive opiates are pethidine and morphine. Food and nutrition, food therapy and nutritional support are fundamental to good surgery practice. The required knowledge of conscious the required knowledge of consequence of surgery, inter, intervention and particular intestinal resection. Malnutrition is common in hospital. All patients who have sustained or who are likely to sustain 7 days in inadequate oral intake should be considered for nutrition support. The assist or otherwise of nutrition support should be determined by tolerance to nutrition provide and nutritional endpoints such as a weight. Now, nausea and vomiting. Nausea and vomiting occur when there is a stimulation of vomiting center by multiple factors. Adequate treatment of pain, anxiety, hypotension, and dehydration will be minimize the risk of the patient developing per oral nausea vomiting. Maximum administer antiemetic the work at different stage, different size such as a S2 receptor, anta, antagonist that is oneda, ondansetron, steroid, dexamethasone, phenothiazine, that is phenothiazine or antihistamines. These are the antiemetic drugs. Now bleeding. The patient blood pressure, pulse, urine output, dressing and drainage should be checked regularly in first 24 hours after surgery. If bleeding is more than expected for given procedure, then pressure should be applied to seat and blood sample should be sent for blood count, coagulation profile and cross match. Fluid resuscitation should also be started. Ultrasound or CT scan may need to be arranged to determine the size and extent of hematoma. If immediate control of bleeding is essential, the patient may be taken back to the operative theatre. If surgical hemostasis is not successful using conventional method, hemostasis dressing or surgical glue may be tried. The radiological mobilization of bleeding vessels can also prove useful. Deep vein thrombosis. Patients suffering post-operative deep vein thrombosis may present with calf pain, swelling, warmth, redness, and engorged vein. However, must will show no physical sign. On palpitation, the muscles may be tender and there is positive hormone sign, calf pain and dorsiflexion of foot. अगर काफ मसल्स को जब अपन डॉक्सीफ्लेक्शन उसके फूट को डॉक्सीफ्लेक्शन करते हैं तो काफ मसल्स में अगर पेशेंट को पेन फील होता है तो उस साइन को अपन hormone साइन कहते हैं. तो अगर वो देखेंगे पेशेंट को ऑन पाल्पिटेशन से. द venography और duplex Doppler ultrasound is used for assist flow and presence of thrombosis. Now deep vein thrombosis management. Initially start with intravenous heparin followed by the longer term warfarin should be started. In some patient with large deep vein thrombosis and cable filter may be required to decrease the possibility of pulmonary emboli. Most hospitalized has DVT prophylaxis protocols. Use of stocking, scarf, pumps, and pharmacological agents such as low molecular weight heparin. Now hypothermia and shivering. तो इसको कैसे मैनेज करेंगे? Anesthesia induced loss of thermoregulatory control. Hypothermia is due to the exposure of skin and organ to a cold operating environment, volatile skin preparation which cool by evaporation, the infusion of cold IV fluid. This is turn lead to increased cardiomobility, hypocoagulation state, shivering with imbalance of oxygen supply and demand, immune function impaired with possibility of wound infection. Active warming device should be used to treat hypothermia as appropriate. Now infection, अगर infection हो गया तो उसके लिए क्या करेंगे? Prophylactic antibiotics should be administered in patients who have had foreign material insert during the operation, including in hip and knee prosthesis or orthopedic surgery or aortic wall in cardiovascular surgery up to 3 doses. Usually 1 dose 30 minutes before knife of skin and 2 post-operatively. Bacteria can be incorporated into the biofilm that form on the surface of implant where they are protected from antibiotic and form the natural defense of body. The prophylactic antibiotics appear to reduce the risk of any contamination developing into infection by destroying bacteria before they are incorporated into biofilm. Now pressure sores, these occur as a result of frictions or persistent pressure on soft tissue. The particular effect of pressure point of recombinant patient include the sacrum, greater trochlear and heel. Risk factor: poor nutrition status, dehydration and lack of mobility, use of nerve blocker anesthesia technique, early mobilization, prevent pressure sore. Will those who are unable to turn in bed should be turned every 30 minutes to prevent pressure sore from developing. High risk patient may be nursed on air alternator which automatically relieve the pressure area. Confusional state. Acute confusional state can occur on recovery of anesthesia or few days after surgery. The overall incidence of post-operative delirium is 5 to 15 per centimeter, but is higher in elder which hip fracture, which is fracture and is associated with increased mobility and motility. Confusion may be persistent, anxiety, incoherent speech, cloudy of confusion or destructive behavior, that is pulling out of cannula. Risk factor of post-operative delirium includes pre-existing congenital impairment, that is dementia, use of narcotic, benzodiazepines, alcohol, and withdraw from it, severe illness, renal impairment, and depression. Now drainage. Drainage are used to prevent accumulation of blood, serosanguinous or purulent fluid, or allow to early diagnosis of leaking surgical anastomosis. The complications are trauma to surrounding tissue and act as a conduct for infection. The quantity and character of drain fluid can be used to identify any abdominal complications such as a fluid leakage, that is bile or pancreatic or bleeding. The lost fluid should be replaced with additional intravenous fluid with some electrolytes contents. Continuous Loss of blood through the drainage should be investigated from the sources. Drains should be removed as soon as possible and certain once the drainage is stopped or become less than 25 ml per day. Per day. Now wound care. Epithelialization taken 24 hours. Epithelialization taken 48 hours. Dressing can be removed 3 to 4 days after operation. Weight drainage should be removed earlier and change symptoms and sign of infection should be locked for which if present compression. Remove a few stitches and daily dressing with swab of suction and cesarean suction. Tensile, tensile strength of wound minimal during for during during first 5 days. Then rapid between 5 to 20 days. Then slowly against full strength taken 1 to 2 days and good nutrition. Wound de- dehiscence. Wound dehiscence is disruptive for any or all the layer in the wound. Dehiscence may occur in up to 3% of abdominal wound and is very distressing to patients. Wound dehiscence most commonly occur from the 5th to the 8th post-operative days. When the strength of wound is 8, it is weakest. It may hedral and underlying abscess and usually presents with serosanguinous discharge. The patient may fall to coughing sensation during stretching and coughing. Most patients will need to return to the operating theatre for resuturing. In some patients, it may be appropriate to leave the wound open and treat with dressing and vacuum assist closure pump. Now, would they sense risk factor general and local? In general, malnourishment, diabetes, obesity, renal failure, jaundice, sepsis, cancer treatment with steroids. Local, inadequate or poor closure of wound, local क्या risk हो सकते हैं? Poor local wound healing because of infection, hematoma and sarcoma, increase intra-abdominal pressure in post-operative patients suffering from chronic obstructive airway disease during excessive coughing. Now, post-operative care will be continuing in next lecture. This session powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in comment box. I will be resolve it. Thank you.